And we're kicking off with AEW, as tonight we'll see the company host Rampage, and tomorrow will be Collision, but fans are going into both of these shows practically in the dark. During this week's Dynamite, no matches were announced for either Collision or Rampage, in a break of tradition for how AEW traditionally operates, and what exactly is going on. Well, on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer explained that right now, neither Rampage nor Collision are AEW's focus, and instead the attention of those working backstage is firmly on All In. It makes sense given that the show will be AEW's largest ever event, and Meltzer added that for Dynamite, the only thing that mattered was segments and matches leading to All In. It was also noted that AEW has a lot of masters to please, but they seem to be doing just that, as those at Wembley will no doubt be thrilled with the impressive ticket sales of the show. Warner Bros. Discovery are also said to be pleased about how this week's Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match went, but for the time being, everybody in AEW is laser focused on getting to London. At SummerSlam, Dakota Kai appeared to celebrate with Bayley and Io Sky following the latter's successful Money in the Bank cash-in and Women's Championship victory. Despite suffering an ACL injury in May, Kai was at the biggest party of the summer and was on last week's Smackdown, leaving some to question if she has made a rapid recovery. During a recent Twitch stream, the New Zealand superstar clarified her situation, stating that despite how things may seem, she is nowhere close to being cleared to compete. Kai pointed out that at both SummerSlam and SmackDown she did not get physical, and said that she has just under 6 months to go before she expects to be cleared. That time frame would put Kai's return around early to mid-February, just in time for her to build something with damage control leading into WrestleMania 40. Prior to her ACL injury, WWE was teasing a split in damage control, but that isn't the case anymore, and we're wishing Dakota Kai the best on her recovery. At Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn gave the performance of his life while facing off with Roman Reigns, but was unable to dethrone the Tribal Chief in Montreal. During a post-show press conference, Zayn was disappointed by the result and felt like he let the city down, an understandable reaction, but one that didn't sit right with WWE's COO. Speaking to Out of Character, Zayn recalled a phone call from Triple H days after the show, who was seemingly unhappy with Sami's comments about his match with Reigns. Triple H's gripe was that Zayn was too much of a downer and gave a sullen ending to his year-long popular storyline with the Bloodline, and Sami admittedly saw his point. With that said, Zayn countered, saying that he was being honest and did feel disappointed by the result, as part of him had held out hope that maybe WWE would book a title change. Zayn may never be a WWE World Champion, but he still gave a performance he should be proud of, even if his post-match comments led to temporary issues with the King of Kings. After coming up short against Reigns, Zayn would team with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, where the two best friends would end the record-long reign of the Usos. Unfortunately for the Canadians, Owens has been out for weeks with an injury, leading some to speculate as to their future as WWE's undisputed tag team champions. In the most recent Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer writes that for now, the plan is for the titles to remain on the two, despite Owens showing no sign of a return. It's interesting that this is the case given the Chelsea Green situation, in which WWE quickly replaced Sonya Deville with Piper Niven as a WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. WWE has also in the past been fine with vacating both tag team titles when one champion is injured, something that's happened multiple times in both the men's and women's division. Perhaps by not vacating the gold, WWE is saying Owens won't be out for long, or perhaps it's a sign that WWE is hoping that no one will care that the titles aren't being defended. With Payback approaching, fans are eager to see Zayn and Owens back in the ring again, but with mentions of the tag titles drying up on TV, it remains to be seen what the future holds. Next month, it is believed that Endeavor's acquisition of WWE will be finalized in a $9.3 billion deal that will see WWE and UFC merged into TKO Group Holdings. Prior to the Endeavor deal being reached, several potential buyers had made noise, including Disney, but WWE may still yet have a relationship with the House of Mouse. Disney are the owners of ESPN, and when their president of content, Burke Magnus, appeared on the Sports Media podcast, he said ESPN are taking a glass-half-full approach to WWE. Burke remained optimistic that Disney could secure the broadcasting rights for WWE, as they are set to expire within the next year or so, but said if so, then WWE content would air on FX, not ESPN. Burke went on to say that there's no hesitation anymore that hosting the scripted WWE programming will impact the image of ESPN, but for now, FX seems like the right home for content. Of course, this can only happen if Disney are able to acquire the broadcasting rights to WWE, as Amazon and others are interested, and there's always Fox and the USA Network who could renew their current deals. The negotiation of broadcast rights was part of the reason Vince McMahon forced himself back into WWE earlier this year, and we'll have to wait and see what the future holds for his wrestling empire. Since coming to WWE, Charlotte Flair has become the company's most decorated female champion of all time and is recognized as a 14-time women's champion. That number covers 1 Divas title reign, 6 Raw women's title reigns, and 7 Smackdown women's title reigns, and doesn't even cover her 2 NXT reigns or time as a tag champion. There is, of course, Charlotte's father, Ric Flair, who boasts 16 official world title reigns to his name, and when speaking to New York Live, Charlotte made it clear she hopes to surpass her dad. If she does, it'll mean that Charlotte will surpass John Cena in the process, and Charlotte added that she hopes her becoming a 17-time women's champion will inspire other women to get in the ring. Critics of Flair, however, have argued the opposite, saying that Flair has hogged the title reigns that could have gone to other women, and that her career will only deter others who will never be as celebrated as her. Flair is 3 reigns away from breaking the record, a very doable feat given WWE's booking of her, but should she surpass her father and John Cena? Share your thoughts in the comments. From one champion to another now, as Gunther has held the Intercontinental Championship since June of last year and is mere weeks away from having the longest reign in history. Gunther's reign has seen him defend against Shinsuke Nakamura, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and others, and famously had his 5-star war with Sheamus at Clash at the Castle in Cardiff. Speaking to Wrestling News this week though, Gunther spoke about next year's Men's Royal Rumble match and whether he could headline WrestleMania while still holding his title. He said, "Who knows? If I get the chance to be in the Royal Rumble as the Intercontinental Champion, maybe. Yeah, I think going into it I would be a favorite, so that would lead to WrestleMania, so the chance is there." Gunther is right to be confident in his chances of winning next year's Men's Rumble match, given that he broke the record for the longest time in a 30-man Rumble match this year, and was praised for his efforts by Triple H after the match. There's only ever been one Intercontinental Champion to headline WrestleMania, that being the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6, and is Gunther your pick to win the Rumble? And do you see him headlining WrestleMania 40 still as the Intercontinental Champion? It was during the August 2nd, 2023 edition of AEW Dynamite that Rob Van Dam made his debut for AEW, confronting Jack Perry and laying out a challenge for the FTW title. A week later, RVD would put up a valiant effort, but ultimately lose to Perry in the Hall of Famer's AEW in-ring debut, but that match had been in the works for some time. Speaking with Denise Salcido, RVD shared that the match had been in the works since the start of this year, and that everything lined up with his dates that he was available. RVD added that Perry had really wanted the match, which helped make their bout even better, and described the reigning FTW champion as a real fan of his work. AEW and WBD are said to have been very happy with Van Dam's appearances so far, and while his deal was only for one match, there is a belief that AEW wants him under a longer deal. Some have suggested that RVD will be on hand during Jack Perry's retirement of the FTW title next week, setting up a match at All In, so we may not have seen the last of the whole effing show. And we're ending with Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, who have proven themselves for years in the ring, and both have been a part of several WWE video games. Now though, the Man and the EST have made their way to Fortnite, though the two aren't free, as a combined bundle of the pair and all their accessories will cost you 2,400 V-Bucks. That's the equivalent of close to $20 American, but for Fortnite gamers who are WWE fans, they can now hold their own in the massively popular Battle Royale game as two of WWE's most successful current stars.